Hello and welcome to Town Talk. I'm your host, Rose Highland-Sharpe. This very inspirational program is brought to you by Highland Communications for storytelling, edutainment, music, and much more. Call at 910-528-0718. Stay tuned for the book signing event for the author, Lana. The book, The Strength from Within, A Mountain of Faith. Lana was born to the late Ida and the Reverend J.W. Peak in 1958. She is the eldest of 6 children and has 1 daughter and 2 grandchildren. She is a minister, life coach, and businesswoman. She also has an associate's degree in fashion merchandising, which she used in retail management for years before becoming a licensed cosmetologist. God has blessed her with many gifts and talents such as singing, writing, drawing, painting, sewing, decorating, and just about anything creative. She strives to do everything with the spirit of excellence and is always willing to help others. She is a dreamer and a visionary who knows that with God, all things are possible. But wait for it. Sister Lana is a go-getter with a capital G, and she'll go with God. Send her, and she'll go. She is a loving, caring sister, mother, grandmother, and friend. I know she believes in the motto, may the work I've done speak for me. She does not look for accolades, pats on the back, acknowledgments, or praise. She lives to please God and to help others. She looks to give all glory, honor, and praise to Almighty God. She looks to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Well done. She lives with her trust in the Lord as if everything depended on him and works as if everything depended on her, meaning she trusts God to help her to do what he has given her to do on this earth. Passionate with purpose, fierce faith to carry on. Lady of the Lord, Lana Peak. All right, and here we are with Miss Lana Peak.
Ernestine, Jack is your sister. Oh, okay, but this is to Ernestine.
N-N-T-I-N.
Right. Look at this. And here we are.
See, I
Coming in. I'm in good shape. Yes, ma'am. All right. Go ahead. Okay, and here we are. Sister Lana, amen. She is autographing my help. Amen. To God be the glory. The strength from within. A mountain of faith. I'm coming in. Hey, I'm coming in. Oh, wow, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, there. This thing can, yeah. Good for you. All right.
Yes. Okay, so we're here talking about the strength from within, a mountain of faith. One question that was asked to me was, when did I start writing? Was that the question?
Yes.
How long have you been working on your book?
How long? That's right.
Exactly.
And that's
Yes.
exactly what she said. How long? Well, I officially started in December of 2016. Um, it was after I got back from my trip. Had a lot on my mind and everything, and I had already just been journaling, and actually it started before that. Some of the hard things I had been through, started writing some things down, and actually had forgotten about until later on. So I wrote, God put it in my spirit to write a book. It wasn't something I had planned to do for any particular reason at all. Honestly, didn't think I would ever do, but I joked about it. For years I joked about it. I said, I should write a book. Everybody else is writing one. And even since then, here locally, a lot of people have. So I wrote between December and April of 2017, December 2016 to April 2017. And I had written a lot. During that time, I had a lot of time to write. I had peace and quiet. And in April, the computer I was using crashed. And where I was doing my writing, which was OneNote, every time I opened it up and went there, it was there. So I didn't put it on a flash drive or anything like that. So when it crashed, then went my stuff, seemingly. I went back to OneNote on a different device, and it just wasn't there. There were other things that I had written, little notes, little nothing notes, was there. I was furious at first because I had put a lot of time and energy in it. It took a lot for me. When you go back, some things you want to forget about, when you go back and try to start remembering some things, and sometimes food, sometimes sound, sometimes music, things will trigger stuff. And so it kind of puts you in a place. In certain chapters that I wrote during that time, I thought it was going to be an autobiography, so I'm just kind of writing about a little bit of everything. And it changed my attitude during that time. It brought grief to me. I had to re-grieve some things. I had to relive some things. And most of the stuff that I wrote during that time didn't bring a lot of joy. It brought mostly pain. And so I had written a lot, didn't want to have to write it again because I didn't want to have to go through that. And so it took me a while to get over the fact that I had done that, and then it felt wasted. So it was a matter of about 2.5 years. During that time period, I would go back to OneNote just checking, and it wasn't there. And so last year, about a little over a year ago, I went to Tennessee to a program, and a lady sitting across from me who did not know who I was or anything about me, she said that God said, first of all, she said, have you finished your book? And I was like, are you talking to me? She said, yeah, I'm talking to you. Have you finished your book? And I kind of laughed and I said, no, I hadn't. She said, well, you need to because I see you holding it. And when she said that to me, I actually saw a book in my hand with a silhouette of a person. So a few months later, someone else told me something similar to that, and so I knew it was time. So I had decided that I was going to dedicate my Sundays and Mondays to writing. I was determined that I would start over and just do it again. During that 2.5 year period, I got more knowledge about how to do some things to make it successful. I got more direction from God as to what to write and how to write it. So some of that negative stuff, even though it brought grief to me, I looked at it more the positive side. Even though it was bad stuff, went more the positive, because I wanted to be able to, wanted people to understand, feel some of what I felt, kind of live some things. I wanted them to really get into it, but see themselves. I wanted you all to see yourself in some situations, and knowing that if I came through, God brought me through, you could come through as well. So that was my purpose for writing. So when the first Sunday that I went to go write, I gathered my things, my new computer, my bag, my tablet, all those things. I went to Panera Bread, and I need to give them a hand for allowing me to come in there like I did. Me and a few other people. So if you want somewhere to go write, that's a good place to do it. So I went there, and I spent hours there. First time I went was right after service one day, and I went and gathered my things, and I was getting ready to now put my stuff on Word, use Word. And the Spirit said clearly, go back to OneNote. So I was like, okay. I went there, and it asked me for my password. I was like, I don't know what that, I don't know, what it is. And last time I went, But anyway, I went, and it asked me, so I used an old password. It opened up, and when it opened, I saw stuff from 2016, 2017. And there was my story. Some people would blame it on the enemy, but it's God. And what he did was, he allowed me to write when I had the time, when I was able to write. And when I opened it up, I saw way more than I remembered putting there. There was so much there that I didn't even really remember writing. So when I saw that, I got so happy, I almost hollered right there in Panera Bread. And I saw what I had, so now it was going to be easy. And because he gave me a different direction, I took from what I had, I used what I needed, and it made it easy. So I went and filled in some things, and I decided my chapters and this and that. So in about a 2.5 month period is when I wrote my book. I, from that point until I finished it, I just had to put the pen down, because every time I went, I thought about something else, and maybe wanted to make it sound a little better or something like that. So in about a 2.5 month period, I wrote my story. And the last chapter I just kind of did, and I even had a voice thing on my computer, so about halfway through, I was able to use that, and made it much easier. So I could just say whatever I wanted to, go back and tweak it or fix it, I've been writing poems for years, and I've had my poetry in there. The only new one in there was the last one, You Gotta Have Faith. I just made that up one day. So after I finished writing, I didn't have a title yet. And I asked God, I said, well, what's the title? What are we calling it? And he said, The Strength from Within, a Mountain of Faith. I was like, yeah, that's good. That works. So he did it. I can't really take much credit from it, because it was my story, I lived it, but the way it unfolded and the way things happened, I know it was him, and I know it had purpose. And even though it's my story, it has even blessed me. It really has. And so, and I want to ask you all, the ones who are here, has anybody read some yet? I know most of you probably just got, you have some? Have you read some? A little bit? So I started with my background, just to give people a background. That could have been way more in depth too, but I didn't really need to. And what I did, because of the title, I based it on some big and difficult things that I had been through and had come through. And and I could have written it in a way that would be even more heart-wrenching and things like that. Some people have gone to my door and hugged her because it's like, oh, you poor baby. And somebody came to me and said something about, I spoke about miscarriage in there, but it's another side to it that's much better. Chapter 2 was very difficult for me because I shared something about myself that I haven't told one of my best friends. And, we all have a story. We all have things that, like somebody said, every dark corner doesn't need light shed on it. Mm-hmm. So we all have that. I don't care who you are. Things that we might be ashamed of, embarrassed about, things like that. And some things are left, or should be just between us and God. But I shared something very deep and special to me, to help somebody else to be able to maybe open up about something that they need. We need to be freed about some things. And you first have to be honest with yourself. And then you need to love yourself and forgive yourself. And you can do better with other people. So life hasn't been easy for a lot of us. We're all going through stuff. Some people are not here now because they've had death in the family or they're sick themselves and things like that. And so we're all dealing with stuff because we're still here. And so I just wanted to encourage someone else, and at the same time still encourage myself because I'm still going through, because I'm still here. So, are there any more questions?
What's the hardest part of the book to write?
The hardest part is chapter 2, and what I just mentioned as far as opening up about something that really was secret, Yeah. And most vulnerable, because a lot of people, because I was, my dad was a preacher and everything, and they used to say, and some people still say, preachers' children are the worst children. We're not the worst, we're just the pastor's kids. Some of us now are ministers, we have children of our own, and it's difficult. The enemy always, he will attack you through your children anyway, usually. But anytime you're trying to do good, you're going to always have opposition. And they put us on pedestals. And I've been on a pedestal for a long time. I had somebody say something to me years ago. I'm not good enough for you. But why? And first of all, if you feel that way, there's nothing I can do about that. If you feel not like you're not good enough, or what makes you think that? What makes you feel that way? And so I just wanted some people to know that I'm not as good as you think I am. I'm not gold. I'm not perfect. Haven't been. I strive for perfection now, or to do good now, because I know better. I'm more mature. But we all mess up. And some people have gone to the grave because they say, oh, my dad fell from grace 20 years ago. Really? So are you still going to punish yourself for that? Because God, if you go to him and ask forgiveness, that's all you need to do. Maybe sometimes you need to ask somebody else for forgiveness, but if you're going to go to your grave falling, that's your fault. And you don't worry about what people say and what they think, because you can change all day. If you want to, you can change, but people won't let you change. They still want to hold something against you. what you used to be. But that's between you and God as well. You know, and we need to stop being so judgmental about a lot of things. And like I tell a lot of people, you know, it takes me about 36 hours in a 24-hour day to take care of myself. I can't be worried about what somebody else is doing. I have to make sure I'm okay. And God's ways are not our ways. There's some things that he's done, just like in chapter 2. You know, I talk about how I believe that my daughter, the one that's sitting over there right now, was given to me in 1981. I had a miscarriage, and then he gave her back to me in 1987. That's what I believe. That's in that story. And the reason I believe that is because I had prayed after I had my miscarriage. And me and her dad were together during that time. We had talked about getting married and stuff back and forth. Once I got pregnant, he was like, but I didn't, you know, after I had a miscarriage, but I didn't want a baby anyway. I really didn't want a child anyway. But you know, that's after the fact. If you didn't, you should have taken care of yourself. But I lost the child. I don't even remember how far along I was, maybe 3 or 4 months pregnant, but I really honestly don't remember. But some years later, I had lost a job, and I didn't know what I was going to be doing, and all this. I had a lot of loss, so I was having a pity party that night. Really, I was like crying, and I was saying my prayers that night, and I was crying in my pillow. I lost my job, and also I went to my dad's house, my parents' house in Fayetteville. I was staying with them for a little while so I could get myself together. And while I was saying my evening prayers, my night prayers before going to bed, I was crying in my pillow. And I said, Lord, if I only had the child that I lost, I would have someone to love and someone to love me. But some years later, I went to a meeting, and this woman prophesied to me and told me, God is going to give you what you asked for 4 years ago. And that was my prayer. I got pregnant 2 days after she told me that. Mm. And even at that time, I didn't even understand what was happening to me. I didn't know what was happening, what was transpiring at that time. However, and I talk about this in the book, so that's why I'm talking about it now. Chapter 2, read it. You're going to enjoy it. It was like I went back in time. I was in one place, but it was as if I was in another, for real. And I had smoked a joint that night with Frank, and I thought it was the weed during that particular time. But come to find out, that was God's way. Some people would say, oh, that's impossible because that's sin. Well, they say our children are blessings. Is that not correct? And most of them come here wrong. Even when you're married, you're a husband and wife together. A lot of time when they get pregnant, they're mad at each other. Things are going wrong. A lot of times when children are conceived. But they are always blessings. And somebody can't tell me that God cannot bless you in the midst of your sin. If you're in trouble, you better call on him. You don't do it because you're messing up at that moment. But some people believe that. Some people will be in the grave if they didn't call out to him right then because they did too much drugs right then. And they asked for God's help. And he helped them. So if we believe that he will not come to our aid when we call, no matter what our status is, and it's not all about salvation. How many people are not saved? Were you all saved when you did some things and called on him? Did he not help you? Did he not give you a desire of your heart? So it's a lot of things that we have to, some people, I did grow up in church all my life. And I realized that even, a lot of people are so stuck in tradition, they're going to miss it. Some saved folk, I don't even call them saved, some Christian folk, some folk religious. We're going to be sitting around looking and wondering where some folk have gone and why they're still here. Because they're mistaken, they're sadly mistaken about a lot of things. We have to get to a place where we have a real relationship with Christ ourselves. We have to stop looking at other folk and listening to everything and, find out for yourself. Have that relationship where you can audibly. Somebody said, well, he doesn't speak audibly. Well, maybe he don't speak to you that way, but trust me, honey, I have heard him as clear as somebody talking to me right now. Sometimes it's one word, sometimes it's a whole sentence. But we need to be able to hear a fresh word. That's where those ideas come from. And if somebody said, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, but I don't know if it's in God's will. Well, a lot of times what you can do is, if it's a good thing, go for it. If it's him, he'll let you know. And stop questioning so many things. Sometimes God, you ask for something, God give it to you, you still want it. Lord, is this you? But if it's good, go for it. And he'll let you know. Don't be afraid, because fear keeps you from doing stuff. Fear will make you miss a blessing. And chapter 2 is called The Price of Disobedience. My soulmate. It cost me a lot. And it cost me still. It's still costing me choices I made. You had a question?
I was going to say, where do you go from here after this?
Keep on living. Somebody says something to me, well, this is your first book and something. I was like, well, who said there's going to be a second? I don't know. This one wasn't planned, and there may be more in me, but what I will do, because sometimes I hear stuff in my head, just like my poems. It's like all of a sudden I hear words, and they're kind of rhyming, and then I have to, sometimes I pay attention to it, sometimes I cut it off, because if I'm not prepared to write, I cut it off, because I won't remember it usually later on. I have to deal with it right then. When I sat down to write, all I did was wrote, I remembered and I wrote it down. But poems and songs, I've written songs and things like that. And most of that stuff came when I was going through with my daughter in her operations situation and stuff like that, being at the hospital for hours and all that. A lot of things came to me. And that's when I wrote songs and things that came out of me. One night I wrote a song. It was late. I was tired. I had been coming back and forth. Lana was in the hospital for a few months, I think, during that time. And I was so tired. I finally got home. It was going to lie down and go to sleep. And words, I started hearing words. I said, no, Lord, I know. And it kept coming. So, and at that time, somebody had told me, keep a tablet or a recorder near your bed. So I had a tablet right there. So I wrote a song in the dark. I didn't turn on a light. I wrote down what I was hearing. Put it down. When I finished, I put it down, went to sleep. Next morning I looked at it, I was like, oh my God. Kind of stayed in the lines too. I was surprised. I mean, really, it was really shocking. So I am going to be more open to that. And again, you have to be, I like to paint too, but you have to be in the mood to do something. Especially when you write, I used to hear about writer's block. You just have to be in the right frame to do something. But peace and quiet is priceless. It's the best. And I have 2 grandchildren at the house. My granddaughter has a nurse, and one of them is here. And my grandson is all over the place. He's loud and he's wild. And so I don't have that kind of time and that kind of space and peace right now. But when you get it, hey, it's good, and you use it to your advantage. I'll do another, something else or not. I don't know what opportunities that will bring, but I didn't really do it for a platform. However, this may be the thing, because ministry has been in me. I have been kind of running from it, not in the church preacher, but ministry. And there are a lot of different ways to do ministry. I had a giving ministry out of my salon, and I'm a giving person anyway, and I do that. That's what I do. I give of myself, of my time, and it's almost hurtful, but I'm learning to be okay with it when you do all you do. But when it's your turn, it's lacking. But I'm learning, and so I still have to do what I'm supposed to do, and that's what I'm going to do, whatever that is. I'm going to be open to whatever God has for me. One of my prayers has been, Lord, that I live beyond 60. My grandmother died at the age of 60. I was 5 years old. When my mother died, my daughter was 5 years old at the age of 60. I was born on Thanksgiving Day. My mother died on Thanksgiving Day. And so one of my prayers has been, one of my desires is that I live longer than 60 years old. My birthday is in about a week, a little over a week. I'll be 61. So this year is going to be more special, and I know I ain't going to wear before, you know what I'm saying? Before I turn 61. Right here. I'm going to be right here on this side of the dirt. And so that's another desire that he has given me. And so, and we do have to be mindful and careful about what we ask him sometimes, because sometimes he give it to us. And it may not be what we thought, we wanted sometimes. Sometimes. So we have to be intentional. I'm learning to be intentional with my words. You can speak things, you can speak life, you can shut stuff down too, for real. And it's all about your belief. And we're getting ready to go in a season, I believe, where we're, miracle signs and wonders for real. But it's going to be about your faith is. And I think that's why there's a lot of books, there's a lot of people talking about faith all the time. And that's why I talked about a mountain of faith, because we all hear about mustard seed faith, just a little bit. And that's what they'll tell you. It doesn't take but a little bit of faith, but sometimes it takes a whole lot. When all the odds are against what you want to happen and what you think should happen, if you give up. I think some people have left here because they gave up. And not because they committed suicide either. But, where they have a time and this and that, but only God really knows for sure. But I think some people have decided. God always gives us choice. He gave Jesus a choice. We all have choices. He gave Adam and Eve choice. And we have choice in everything we do. Everything. So I think that it's possible we could choose to live or die.
I haven't read everything, but with the transparency of the book, do you feel like that's going to affect you now in any way? I know you prepared, whether it's positive or,
I am, because I realize everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to understand. I am a little thicker skinned now than I was some years ago. Not so sensitive. And I realized, but that wasn't me doing it either. So I also know that I have protection. Because I could have very well and easily would have rather kept. You know what I'm saying? Because people are very judgmental people anyway. And that might be why some people are absent because they don't agree. But it's okay. But I know what I believe, and I know what I have lived. I know what I have learned as well. And some of that might help some young person who's dealing with something similar. Not saying it was right, but like I've said already, you know, we're not perfect, I'm not perfect. And that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to prove to somebody, you know. I had a classmate that used to call me goody two-shoes every time he saw me, even in my adult life. And it would insult me instead of, you know, it wasn't a compliment because he didn't mean it that way. It was the way he said it. But it's not true anyway. I had to grow up just like everybody else. Even my daughter or young people, they feel like the things that they do, and they might tell a little white lie or whatever, but, you know, we understand anyway because we were there. Do you not forget? Do you realize that we were children too? We were teenagers. We were little babies. We were teenagers. We were young adults. We did stuff. Even though we are your parents, we've done some things. And we understand some of the stuff that you're going through too. So it's not necessarily to tell a lie about it or anything else, because we've done some things. Mm-hmm. And of course, we wanted to hide them just like my parents. Now, if my parents were alive, I don't know that I would have done that. Because I always tried to protect my people, especially my dad, because he was a pastor. And that was my goal then, to make sure that I didn't do anything that was going to embarrass or upset him or have the people upset with him. But I am an individual. He was the pastor. That's in there too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just have to tell folks. And some people walk around, I call them holier than thous. You're not gonna you're gonna put that in there, go ahead, put it in there. But I call them holier than thou because they are so critical and judgmental about other people. And they act like you know, I don't know. But that's where God's grace comes in. He knows we're human. He knows we're flesh and we're going to mess up. You know? So anybody who walks around so special and with their head all held high and act like they've never done a bad thing ever in their whole entire life, that's a lie. Mm-hmm. It's not true. You can't be here with all these other folks and with all this other stuff that goes on and not seeing it all together. Well, that's all. And some of you, since you haven't read it and you know me, you can give me some opinions after you do read it. Let me know how you feel. You know, I'm curious to find out. But I didn't do it for any praise or anything like that. And I guess I have to prepare myself for whatever. And the thing of it is too, you know, our nature is to talk to other people instead of going to the source. Mm-hmm. And see, nobody can explain that. And if they ask a question, I'll answer it. And everything in there is true. I changed a name or two or didn't call a name or whatever, but those people know who they are. But I did it to protect them. And so that's that. I'm not upset about anything that is in there, or even my experiences now. I'm over it. My marriage stuff and all that. I don't have any hard feelings against anyone or anything that was, it happened, and even I was blessed after the fact, going through it. So, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, and I do want to say, did you have something else?
No.
Okay. But I wanted to say, Jeff McCoy, stand up there. This is my coach. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years, and that was one of the things I asked God to do, was direct me as far as after you write. You want it to get out there, and you want to do it well and all that, right? So you need some help. And Jeff was my help. He has written a couple of books himself. He is a business coach, life coach in general, basically, and he helped direct me. And I appreciate him for that, because it made a big difference. It made that part of my job easy. And there is a lot of work that goes into it to do it right. And okay, thank you, Jeff. And if you have something you want to say, you can. I'm gonna let you in a minute. And even in the process of getting the book together, doing the proofing segment of it, something happened, and they ended up, the copy that you all have now, even if you ordered it prior to this past Tuesday, is the ebook version. So it's not as, the real version is a little more fancier, and if you'll notice on the table of contents, that is like screwed up. And of course, y'all know that I have better sense than that. And so I just want to throw that out there. But I have gotten that situated. So, and that's one reason why the books, because they're online for $16.95. And I've selling these for $15 today because of that. And so I didn't know until after the fact, when my first sets of books came, I saw that, and I had a couple of bad days, 2 or 3 bad days behind it. Lord help me. And it was kind of too late, so I have some coming in. So everything now that's ordered is going to be better. The content is there. All the material is actually in there. It's just that there are a few things that are off. And that's because it's the ebook version and not that one. So it's a little fancier, is what it is, and that's just because that's what I like to do. So, anyway, and I want to thank Minister Rose Highland for videoing it for me today, kind of helping me out there. And certainly want to thank Atomy. A lot of people want to know why I had it here. But Atomy is another business that I'm in. It's a multi-level marketing company. And Atomy is a hub. And they have formed together there with Comar, B&H Beauty and Health. They've come together to give us the best quality products at the best price. And so as a member, we have several different, we have supplements and things like that. One of them, my granddaughter has really done well. It has boosted her immune system and everything, and she's doing great. And we have all type of products, hair care, beauty. And this is our center. This is where we have our meetings. And a few of us are in here tonight. And so I was able to get this place for free. So yeah, I mean, it's our center, the whole meetings and things. And I really appreciate the fact that they allowed me to do that. And so I have to talk about it. But it's a beautiful company as far as the members. We work together, we help each other. It's a multi-level marketing, so not only do you save money by using the product, there's several people in here that are using them too. You you save money by using it, but you can also make money. So it's been a really good thing for me. And there are no fees to join or no auto ship or anything like that. That's the first time or the first business I've ever been in that has that kind of a situation where you have the potential to make great money. So if anybody is interested in knowing more after this, let us know, and be glad to talk to you further about that. So if there's nothing else, we're going to end this, and there's some more food back there. Please help yourself. I could say if you wanted to take something, but you can on a plate. Put a plate on a plate. Do like that and take it, but we don't have any to-go things. I appreciate y'all coming out, really. I know it was a sacrifice for some of you, just getting off work and all with the weather and stuff, but I appreciate you. Have a good night.
I just want to say that it was an absolute pleasure working with Lana. She did a fantastic job, and even in some of the obstacles that came up at the very last minute, like the day of launch, when she got all of a sudden her phone wouldn't charge, when she needed to reach out to everyone to get the word out, let them become aware of it. But she was very diligent about everything. You can just see her tenacity as she moved forward with the project. And even when obstacles came in the way, she didn't totally panic. She might have got concerned. She didn't panic, and she would deal with what she could deal with, and she would talk with me about certain things, and it was just things. In spite of even the little minor challenges that happened there along the way, everything flowed relatively smoothly, and we were able to get through everything. And she actually came out with a product that she could be proud of. At first, I thought we were going to look like a church fan, and I told her that. But I said, let's do some changes and shifting here. But at the end of the day, the book cover looks wonderful. Her wording, the message, incredible message. It takes you through every scope of emotion across the spectrum, from the excited to the mystery to the on edge, like what's going to happen next, to the you want to cry, then you want to laugh. She just goes through the whole gamut, and it really keeps you engaged throughout the process. So it's like once you get started, once you start reading it, it's going to capture you, it's going to pull you in, and you're just going to be drugged on to the next chapter, and it's like it's hard to break away from it. I was kind of going through the book, with her, looking at some of the things and trying to help on some behind the scene marketing type stuff. But of course, I had to understand what was going on, and as I read, it's like it was getting away in my work, because I kept reading like, okay, what comes next? What happened next? It was a really enjoyable read. And it wasn't what I was expecting, but I don't really know what I was expecting. I expected all women's books. I ain't gonna say all, but I expected it to be more appealing to women, but it was appealing to men equally, who would take the time to actually read it. It's a great book, a lot of lessons, a lot of encouragement and inspiration that somebody can grow from and just rise above the storms.
Amen.
Thank you all for being on Town Talk today.
Thank you.
And as always, if you're walking the walk, you'll what? Be on Town Talk. And that's what God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the book signing event for author Lana Peek. The book, The Strength from Within, A Mountain of Faith, passionate with purpose, fierce faith to carry on. Lady of the Lord, Lana Peek. Thank you so much for tuning in to Town Talk. I'm Rose Highland-Sharpe, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. And honey, remember, some way by God's grace and mercy, if you're walking the walk, you'll be on Town Talk. Take care. God bless. Town Talk airs WYBE-TV, Spectrum Cable 3, Southern Pines, North Carolina, and on Rose Highland-Sharpe YouTube. It is a service to the community.